Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I wanted to make a video discussing all of the different options that you have of mounting your GoPro onto your motocross helmet. I'm going to try and make it short and sweet, straight to the point, so I'm going to show you where I mount it. I'm going to give you a video sample footage of each spot, and I will tell you, in my opinion, the pros and the cons of each position. The 5 different mounting locations that I have used and I'm going to show you today are the top mount, the side mount, the under the visor mount, the looking back at you mount, and finally the chin mount. Okay, so first, with some sample footage, we have the top mount. There's really only one main benefit I find with mounting it on the top of your helmet, and that's just that it's centered right in the middle of your helmet. So any little bit of weight that the GoPro actually adds to your helmet, you probably won't feel much of it at all because it's directly center on top of your head. Now the cons to mounting it on the top of your helmet: you end up seeing mostly just your visor in the video and a whole lot less of the bike and your hand controls and the handlebars. You don't see much of that bike movement. You see mostly the visor and what's going on in front of you. Okay, so quickly moving on to the side mount. You can mount the GoPro on either side of your helmet. It really doesn't matter what you want. I prefer the left side of my helmet so that the camera lens is a little bit farther away from the helmet itself. You'll get less of the helmet in view. The main benefit to this is, as compared to the top, you will see a whole lot more of that bike movement. It won't be perfectly centered over the bike, but you will see a lot more of the bike controls, your leg move, you'll just see a lot more of the tire action on the ground, which gives you a better and more immersive experience when watching the video afterwards. Now, obviously, there is a downfall to this, there's a con to this, and these GoPros aren't that heavy, but it's on your head and you're gonna notice every little bit of weight, at least at first. So when it's on this left side or it's on that right side, it takes off your center of gravity on your helmet, and you definitely will feel it pulling your helmet to one side. After you ride with it for a while, you'll probably completely forget it's there, but that's the main negative to this spot. Alright, so the third mount I want to show you today is the under the visor mount. Now, the benefits to mounting it underneath your visor are that it gives you a centered, immersive video experience. You just get a whole lot more action when you mount it underneath your visor. It's almost as if the viewer of the video is watching you ride the bike straight out of your eyes when you're actually riding it. I love the view from under the visor. It gives a really cool experience of being able to see everything ahead of you and all of the action that's going on with your bars, but there is a downside to this as well. When you mount this on your visor, there is a chance that it's going to be slightly in your vision line, so you might see a little bit of the GoPro blocking your vision. It's not going to, make you blind. It's not going to make you not be able to see anything, but it will show probably a little bit in your goggles. I would say the other negative to this is your visor needs to be a very, very sturdy mounting point. So if your visor isn't locked in super tight and it's a little bit flimsy, mounting the GoPro to this is just not a good idea because it'll be excessively shaky. Some people have helmets where they can mount the GoPro up here on the helmet itself, which is a much more stable mounting point, and I would still consider this like the under the visor mount. Another really cool and unique mounting location that I want to show you guys, I'm not even sure if they still sell this anymore. It's called the GoPro arm. The package comes with a couple different pieces, but basically it's this like arm extension kit that you mount to the top of your visor like this, and then when you tilt the GoPro down, the GoPro actually faces back at you. I would say the pros of it are simply that it's so unique and so interesting. It's a different perspective than you typically see in anyone's videos. There's a lot of cons to this thing though. Because the GoPro is extended so far off of your helmet, it significantly pulls down in terms of weight. The weight pulls your helmet down in front of you, so you'll constantly be having to lift with your neck backwards. The shots from this, a whole GoPro video of just looking back at your face is going to be super, super boring. So the only way I ever used this thing was in little snippets of shots, but overall it's a super cool view for very specific shots. I wouldn't recommend just riding around with this thing on your helmet all the time though. I will try and find a link for where they sell it, and I'll put it down in the description if I can find it. All right, so let's get on to the last mounting position. This one is by far my favorite, and it is my go-to. It's the one I use in every single one of my GoPro videos. The mount never leaves my helmet, and if I'm gonna put a GoPro on my helmet, this is where it's gonna go every single time. Now, the pros to the chin mount position in general is it's, in my opinion, the most realistic viewpoint. If you want your GoPro video to look like what you're seeing specifically out of your eyes, this is probably the closest image you can get to it. So you see all of the handlebar movement, all your clutch and your brake control movement. You can still see ahead of you perfectly, but there's so much action going on in the bottom of the frame that it just keeps you engaged in that video constantly. So the pros to the Proshot mount over here is that it is rock solid, stable, sturdy on my helmet. This thing isn't coming off. I've crashed many times and my face has hit the ground many times. This thing has never broken, never fallen off, not once. That super heavy duty Velcro is very, very, very strong, and I don't even like taking this thing off my helmet because I'm afraid it's going to rip the adhesive off of the Velcro that's stuck to my helmet. The biggest con to the Proshot is that it is a large, bulky mount. It's not heavy by any means. It's very thin plastic, so you can hardly even feel that this thing's on your helmet. But it's bulky just in terms of size, so when you're looking at your helmet, big things sitting on the front of your helmet that to some people may ruin the overall design of their helmet, the look of their helmet. And of course you have to put this sticky Velcro adhesive, which are these big, thick black strips. And if you just have a brand new, shiny $600 helmet, you might not want to, permanently put this thing on the base of your helmet. This is the Dango Designs. This is what I use when I want to strap a GoPro on one of my friends. I just like to have this in my bag. If one of my friends don't have a mount, but they have their own GoPro, or they don't want to mount it on the top of their helmet, whatever, I always have an option. Unclamp, clamp it back on. Big benefit to this is, like I said, you can clamp it on and clamp it off. It's not a permanent fixture on your helmet. You can take it on and off whenever you want. You can share it with your friends. Now, cons to this are, because it's not like a permanently glued adhesive mounted to your helmet, there is a chance that it will fall off. There is a chance that it will slide around. I told you I've never had it fall off, but I have had friends that were wearing this, like let's say they case a jump or they over jump something, they hit flat really hard, and because it doesn't have the tightest fit with every single helmet, every helmet's going to fit differently, it shifted down a little bit, and then it changed the view for the rest of the video, and it actually ruined the rest of the videos. You'll see now where he's going off this jump, as soon as he hits the landing, the entire view of the camera just shifts down more, and you can't see much of what's going on in front of him anymore, and that's because this mount isn't glued, it isn't permanently fixed, so it shifted down once he had that really hard impact. I have some friends that they ride super aggressive and their head is really close to the front of the bars, and this thing actually, the bottom of it, just constantly bangs off of the bars, and it's just a kind of annoying, jarring effect when it hits that. So be aware that because this does hang down here, it one has the possibility of like hitting your bar pad if you ride super aggressive with your head down really low, and two, if your head ever, for some reason, just like tilts down really fast, if you're not wearing a chest protector, this thing is going to jam right into your chest and it might not feel very good. So a big benefit to both of the different chin mounts that I'm showing you today, the Proshot and the Dango Designs, you can mount the GoPro up like this, or you can flip it upside down and mount it and hang it low down like this. Just that little bit of motion, having it up here, or having it hang upside down and having it hang a little bit lower than the chin piece of your helmet, it gives you a drastically different viewpoint, and that's super cool to play around with. And like I said, guys, both of these mounts, both this clamp-on Dango Designs and the more permanent Proshot chin mount, I'll have links to both of these down in the description and probably pinned in the top of the comments. I highly, highly suggest grabbing one of these chin mounts. If you have a GoPro and you do any type of GoPro videos, seriously, these things just give you such a better GoPro video experience. Can't really go wrong with either, as long as you do a little bit of research and make sure it's compatible with your helmet. Also, just as a little bonus tip, I highly recommend buying a little pack of these straight-on adapter pieces if you want your GoPro to be higher up here or lower down here. If you want it to hang lower, or if you want it to be higher up, you can just put this straight on adapter piece in here. So the pieces that typically come with your GoPro look like this. So if it sticks in here, then the GoPro would stick out the other direction, and you don't want an adapter piece that makes your GoPro point in a different direction. So I will leave a link in the description to these straight on adapter pieces. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope what I showed you here today helped in some way. If it did, please click like on that video. I greatly appreciate it. If you want to see more content, please click the subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next one.